Today we'll look into the name of Nephthys, whose name was changed during the Ptolemaic period. And since the names can tell us so much about things, let's see what we can learn from the actual hieroglyphs. Originally pronounced something like Nebdhet, the hieroglyphs that make up her name have been cleverly arranged to form the symbol that she typically wears on top of her head. First is the same woven basket we saw in the name of her brother Nephthys, and it sits above a tall rectangle that contains another smaller one in the lower corner, plus the half-round T-shape near the top. Scholars translate the basket as Lord and call the rectangle a sacred enclosure, so her name is usually translated as the Lady of the Temple, which comes straight out of the Victorian mindset. So let's take another look. The basket is strategically perched high on top of the rectangle as though to receive offerings or energy from the realms above. And since Nephthys is placed over the head of the deceased on coffins and sarcophagi, there's a connection with the crown chakra there too. And pronounced Neb, it's also associated with gold. That basket is woven by the Nephthys, she who contains all energy, which she manifests through weaving together the gossamer threads or straws in undulating wave patterns to create the manifest forms of baskets or fabric. All too easily overlooked today, weaving plays an enormous multidimensional role in all our lives. Below it is a tall rectangle that we also saw in the name of Nephthys, and I identified as plasma. Sometimes the sides gently taper inwards like the sides of a temple pylon, or more importantly, like the sides of an obelisk that's often placed in front of the pylon. Pronounced Het, a second rectangle sits in the lower corner. What can all this mean? Now I'm still learning about plasma, but it comes from the ancient Greek word meaning moldable substance. In other words, a state of matter that can be molded or manipulated into different shapes or forms. So as I understand it, plasma is an unstructured state of matter that vibrates at a higher frequency than things that are solid, liquid, or gas. Then we're told it makes up 99% of all matter in the universe, which is huge, and implies that everything that's not solid, liquid, or gas is in fact plasma. Now going down to the atomic level, the space between protons, electrons, and neutrons, which make up the bulk of every atom, is also plasma. Modern science tells us it can be artificially created by heating up or exposing a neutral gas to a strong electromagnetic field, which immediately connects us to her father Geb, who represents matter in all of its forms. And his relationship to her mother Nut is the cause of the Earth's electromagnetic field. Suddenly, her symbol starts to look like a piece of alchemical equipment, the bowl collecting solar heat or radiation to generate plasma. In the upper part of the rectangle sits the half-round T hieroglyph, affirming that Nephthys is a female principle, and therefore that which contains. and all three of these hieroglyphs appeared in the names of Seth and Nephthys. Sometimes a second T and an egg are added to the end of her name, exactly like her twin sister Isis, further highlighting how closely these four twins are interconnected. The egg invokes the mysterious process of incubation and is one of the ultimate symbols of motherhood. And with Nephthys, it represents her ability to enter into the unknown and unknowable through her principal function of intuition. The universe and its planetary bodies are constantly sending us electromagnetic frequencies that are beneficial and necessary for all living beings. And Nephthys is the facility that can collect and hold them, like her faculty of intuition that brings in useful information from beyond our current field of awareness so she can rightly guide us through life. Yet in today's world we're also subject to a lot of artificial man-made frequencies that do not come from the celestial realms above. Yet they enter into our physical bodies, and many of Earth's creatures are not equipped to process them. However, such frequencies are not new, and they do exist elsewhere in the universe. So both Seth and Nephthys know about them and seek to protect us as best they can. As I keep repeating, the hieroglyphs are multidimensional symbols that are activated by the sound of your voice, each one having many meanings that combine to provide a tremendous depth of sacred knowledge and wisdom. So interpreting them is an ongoing process that allowed the temple initiates to constantly deepen their understanding. So, looking at the hieroglyphs that make up her name, the basket is a receiver of energy that filters down into the plasma, where it's held for a duration determined by the egg. As such, Nephthys has a lot in common with an obelisk, and more on that coming up in Ben. And even reading the two rectangles as an enclosure, the same hieroglyph is used in the name of Hathor, where it contains the falcon of Horus. And remember that Seth is the guardian of your own sacred temple, your physical body, while Nephthys' role is to supply him with all that he needs from the outside. And that concludes our study of the names of the four twins. So when you learn something new, please click the like and subscribe buttons and consider supporting the channel through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description below, where you'll also find a link to my blog, News from Beyond. And as ever, thank you for watching.